Hi everyone, Curtis here from Goth Rider Creations, and in today's episode I'm actually going to finish the guitar. I promise. Stay tuned. So, another episode, another location. The area I was using last time was our craft room, and opposite where my desk is my wife's desk, and that's where she actually works. And as I'm currently between jobs, it's not really possible to mount a camera basically where her head sits to film me while I'm doing my stuff. So I figured we have a spare bedroom. If you look from side camera, you can actually see the spare bed there. So yeah, not ideal, but yes, this is where we're going to be able to do a bit more filming until the weather improves. So what we have is nearly ready to go. It's literally assembly as far as I can work out. But there is one thing missing. Any of you that remember the Rainbow song? Yeah, some of you might be looking at me like, what the hell is he talking about? There is one colour missing from the rainbow on this guitar. And I'm going to fix that now. Some of you might not like this. Quite a few of you might not like this. But it's my wife's guitar and this is what she wants. So let me do a little bit of prep and I'll show you what we're doing. Right, I think that's going to do it. It's going to take a couple of days for that to dry because obviously that's quite thick. It is just household emulsion. We were going to use it on the spare room and we saw it and we thought that'll do. As I said, it's not going to be everyone's cup of tea, but the look on Mrs. Goth Rider's face when I actually walked back into the house with it, that's everything. So yeah, if you don't like it, then don't do it to your own guitar. Sorted. So yeah, I touched in some of the edges around the zombie. I didn't actually want to get paint in the resin because then it would flow with it and it took enough work to do, so I didn't mind going back with a brush and just sort of touching it up so it looks the part. Yeah, that'll do for the red. So yes, see you in a couple of days time and we will actually start assembling this guitar. Well, that dried actually a lot faster than I thought, so here we have it. Painted the side and sorted out some of the drips that were left on the end, so that's all ready to go. Now, next on the list is to finish off the last few jobs before I can actually do the final assembly. And first off, we're going to sort out the fretboard. I've just got one of these metal masking things that you just go over the fret. I'm just going to tape those down, polish each fret, get that out of the way, and then we'll use some of the fractionated coconut oil. I couldn't remember what it was called last time. oops, just to oil the fretboard, and that'll be ready to go. Right, and there we have it. That is about as shiny as I'm able or willing to get. So yeah, that is all sorted. Very happy with that. All the fret's good, oil's on the fretboard, we're sorted. So we'll just remove the tape from the back of the neck. And then what we've got to do is install some tuners and put this in the body. So that's that one done. And next comes the body. So first job is to do the shielding. Now what I've done is made my own shielding paint using some pencils and some acrylic paint. If you want to see how that's done, you'll have to go over to Devil & Son Guitars. Daniel does a sketch show once every couple of weeks called the Luthiers Lunchbreak. And quite a few of us GGBO contestants and a few other luthiers, we do little sort of 3-minute tutorials, advisories. We've got Lars Grape showing you how to actually design guitars. You've got Mark Gutierrez doing actual sort of tips and tricks for guitar making. Chris Garland does some really useful stuff about how to actually use handheld household items to make bits and pieces for guitar making. So yeah, definitely give that a watch and you'll see how you can make your own of this stuff. Didn't cost me anything, so it doesn't come out of the budget, which is great. So yeah, let's start painting. Right, so that's that all sorted. Don't know if you can see the sheen in there, hopefully you can. Yeah, just about. So that's all shielded, all of those are done. So while we wait for that to dry, let me dig out the soldering gear and we'll get on with the electronics. And here we are all set up for the soldering. So I've seen a couple of people do this, so I have literally just put all the components into a piece of cardboard, so it's all ready to go. I've organised the orientation as to where it's going to be in the guitar. So yeah, the wiring diagram is very similar to the Impossible that I did last year. 2 individual switches, for each humbucker, just on and off. It's a first guitar, so there's really no point in trying to do coil splitting or any of the fancy stuff. At a later date, if Mrs. Goth Rider gets into it and wants to start messing with those kind of options, then I will happily rewire the guitar for her, so that's not an issue at all. Now, the little toggle switches are extra. I bought a pack of, I think it was like 12 for a tenner, so I'm calling that £1 each. You can get them individually on sort of places like eBay if you wish, but if you're going to get into this, buy them in bulk. It just saves messing around. It also helps if you ever get a dodgy one, because it happens, and the last thing you need is to be short of one just before you finish a build. So always a good thing to do. So I'll add £2 to the bill there. And yeah, so I was looking at the existing switches. I've taken the pots from the donor guitar, all the wiring, the extra wirings come from that as well. The only thing that I didn't want to do was try and work out the 5-way switch with 2 humbuckers. It's just, I don't know enough about those switches. If I had time and I had a wiring diagram of what actual pin did what, I'm sure I could find it online. I might be able to hack something together, but I have these and I don't mind £2 going on the bill, so I'm just going to use these because they're so easy. I've already drilled the 2 holes and they're in with the body anyway, so done. A little bit of heat shrink, some spare wire. I'm going to put all of the wires required on all of the components, then sink it in, then I can pull through the wires for the humbuckers, and then just solder wire to wire and drop down rather than trying to poke a soldering iron in. And I see people doing that and I just cringe. I just think, no thank you, especially not on a painted guitar, no thanks. So I'm gonna do this now, that way I can bench test it, which is another good thing about that, and then we can get cracking. One thing I was going to do for everyone was find out these humbuckers and see what the ratings are for them. Need to remember resistance. I don't know, 20 would be good. Positive, come on. Yeah, I've got nothing. I've got 0.4 on that side, 0.4 on that side, nothing across the 2. This could be a dead humbucker. Yeah. Fortunately, all the cables are taped up, so I can't quite see what the issue is. So that's a little annoying. I think what I might do is just chuck in a different set of humbuckers for now until I can sort this out. Yeah, give me 2 seconds. Right, let's see what we've got here. I did a little splurge for Black Friday. I went on Wish and I bought some loaded scratch plates. They're only £10 each, so I thought, why not? So it comes with the scratch plate, and it's a HHS setup. I've already dismantled most of it. So let me see if I can cannibalise 2 of these humbuckers and see what they come up with, and see if we can use these instead. Okay, the bridge is reading 11.7, which is a lot less, and the neck is reading 11.8, so as much of a muchness really. Yeah, it's a shame about those other ones, but this is what happens when you buy cheap electronics. Sometimes they don't work all that well. Eventually, when I start upgrading my skills, I'll see if I can start getting some decent pickups, but this is where I like starting with this kind of thing, is that I got the entire wiring set up, all spare parts I need for £10. So, you know, it's paid for itself in a way, and then at a later date, if you really get into it, you can buy your CTS pots and you can buy, you know, your hand wound pickups and whatever else. So, you know, anyway, enough of my waffling. We've now got 2 pickups. Apparently they work. I'll have to swap out the covers, but I can do that in a bit. So let's get soldering. Well, that was a hell of a lot of fun. So yeah, as you can see, everything's now professionally mounted. Or not. Yeah, that took about 3 times longer than I thought it would. I think from now on I will actually do those plug-in wiring looms like I did for the Impossible last year. That's not fun, just painstakingly, delicately soldering in. No, I didn't enjoy that. Didn't enjoy that at all. But theoretically, I've got it. Everything seems to fit where it needs to fit. I did have to drill out the screw posts for the pickups, because these screws that came with the new pickups are a hell of a lot longer than the other ones, and the other ones weren't reaching long enough to actually get there, so give it up with that. And I've just lost the tone knob, which is a little bit annoying, but I'll find that. So yeah, knobs fit on, switches, we've got the silent piezo system there. I've taped down the piezo pickup under the bridge. I've got the ground wire, that's all in there. Luckily the ground for the piezo is braided wire, so it runs across all the cavities and touches all of the shielding paint, so it kind of helps ground everything. I will run another wire across from the main cavity across to one of the pots just to make sure that everything is sorted out. I even found my old school crimp set, so I can get a nice circular crimp, get that screwed in there, and then that should be ready for testing. But I'm going to do that tomorrow because I'm knackered now. So yes, I will see you tomorrow and we'll test these electronics and then hopefully get everything screwed down. Morning everyone. So, another day. I know I probably should have tested it yesterday, but I was so stressed out with that wiring. If I tested it and something was wrong, I probably would have ended up throwing it against a wall. I'm not going to do that. Good boy. So, we have our plug-in amp. I did go to a rather, let's say, world-famous guitar shop, and I bought a new cable because that's all I could afford. Not saying they're expensive, but I can't afford new stuff. That's why I build. So hopefully this one should work a bit better. Yeah, we're just going to try this now. I won't do any editing or anything. We'll do this live so we know what we're looking at. Oh. Oh. It's not staying in, that's a little unusual. So, for any avoidance of doubt, it looks like I've got a dodgy jack. Thankfully, I have the spares from the loaded scratch plates, so I'm just going to cannibalise that as well. See if this has happened yesterday. So yeah, let's give this soldering iron a second and then we'll get started. Right, so that's all done. I know I might get some interference from the soldering iron, but let's just try this. Okay, so that's in there. Aha, that's more like it. That's it. Yes. Finally, volume all the way down. Sorted. So that's that, and then we also have the silence system. That's much more like it. That is picking up a little bit of interference from the soldering iron. Right. Wow, that's good. Volume. Wow, that is loud. And the tone works as well. Right, so. Sorted. Okay, right, that's that panic over with. Now we can get cracking. I've got all of the various screws for all of the electronics, so I'm going to just start from the back, get everything buttoned up, screwed down, and then I'll move on to the front, get all that sorted, and then yeah, then we can start looking at the neck, then we can start looking at the positioning of the humbuckers, and we'll get there, people. And that's that bit done. So we've got all the cavities in. I did hit a air pocket in one of the battery screws, obviously where one of the cables is running through, so I'm just going to leave that one out. Same again with the front of the piezo system, the two screws, I can't get to them. Well, I can probably get to one, but not this one because of the horn, so I'm not going to worry. It's got 4 screws on the back. You're not really going to see it. I'm quite happy. So back is now all complete. Now I can start sorting out. In fact, no, we'll get the neck on first, then we can sort out the front. So, this is why I hate assembling guitars. I've lost one of the inserts. I've hunted round, I've gone through everything, it's not there. Now, without that insert, that's just gonna flop around in the hole and it's not gonna match. And as much as you hear me say that'll do, it gets to a point where that just won't do. So even I won't go that low. So, now we've got a problem. I've only just hammered these things in, so I've now got to very carefully get them out without damaging the paint, which will be fun. On the plus side though, I do still have the old hardware from the Impossible. So I have inline 6 tuners, I have the more recognisable screw-in collars, and the washers. So this can work. The problem is I'm probably going to have to drill out these posts, these holes, even after it's been done. But you do have the large washers, so it's not the kind of thing you want to be doing on a finished guitar on final assembly, but I'm not going to spend the next few days hunting for that one collar. It's just not an option. So now I'm going to very carefully knock these out, re-drill all these holes, and then see what I can do. Yay. Right, that was an absolute and complete pain in the arse. Yeah, so I've reused the tuners from the Impossible. As you could see, I had to use the world's beefiest drill bit to actually get the back started, because I didn't want to use a wood drill bit because it's got the spikes either side, so you're never going to find the centre of the hole, and I couldn't find any of my steps drill bits, so I literally had to go with that, even though it's probably 1/2 mil too wide, just so I could actually centre it in the hole and get it perfect, because after all of that work with the inlays, I don't want them to look out of place or skew if, so yeah, I had to oversize the back hole. Then I found one of my old drill bits that you can probably see there is absolutely knackered, but the tips have been worn away, so it actually allowed it was almost like a conical drill bit, so it went down just enough just to take the outside edge off enough that I could get those bolt-on collars. So that's done. String trees are on, so neck is now complete. Oh, I think I'm going to go for some lunch, calm myself down a little bit after all that fun, and then I'll stick the neck on the body, and then we can get the last few bits done. Right, and now we've dealt with that issue. This was supposed to be the easy bit, you know, the fabrication was meant to be the hard bit. This was just put stuff together. Why has this become the issue? I really don't know. But anyway, so all I've got to do now, theoretically, now the neck's done, is put that in the hole, bonk that down, double, triple check my bridge placement so I know it's all good, screw that down, screw the pickups down, put some strings on it, theoretically, oh, and some strap buttons, but that should be it. So let's see what screws up now. And now all that's left to do is just string it up. I had these left over from the Impossible build last year. I will put it on the price because if you're building a guitar, buy new strings. If you bought the second-hand guitar like I've done to cannibalise other parts, don't use the old strings. They're probably knackered, and even if they're not, they're probably cheap, nasty, awful bloody things. So yeah, if you're going to make a custom guitar, get some half-decent strings. Saying that, I've had a look on eBay and I will put on the costing, £4.30 for a set of Ernie Ball regulars. That, I think, is absolutely fine. I think you can get cheaper, you know, on Wish you can get them for like £1 or £2, but £4, yeah. So let's get this strung up now. It sounds bloody awful, but it is there. Just plug in the amp. Man, that picks up a lot of noise. And that's just the silent piezo, so it definitely works underneath the bridge, so we've got that at least. So, yeah. Let's try this. This might be awful. Yeah, awful. So we're not going to be able to do a sound test this time because yeah, it sounds bloody awful. So what I will do is I will leave this episode here. The guitar is basically done. I just need to set the thing up, but to be fair, I've got to stretch the strings anyway, so yeah, it's going to be a little bit more work. So yeah, I guess that'll do it. Thank you all so much for joining me as always. Please like, subscribe if you haven't already. Please let me know what you think. Please don't quote on the sound demo. Yeah, it needs some work, but once it's all set up, I will get it sound demoed. I will present it to the missus so you can actually see it, and yeah, that'll have to do. Alright, thank you very much everyone. Take care.